If you're anything like me, then you have champagne taste on a beer budget. I want some Dom Perignon, but I'm not willing to pay any more than Miller High Life prices, okay? I don't even know if I pronounced that Dom Perignon stuff right because it's too expensive, okay? I want a cheap house and I want it on the water and I want it on Lake Lanier. So in this video, we're gonna be talking about the most inexpensive houses you can find with a dock permit on Lake Lanier in North Georgia. Hey everybody, my name's Tim Gibson and my channel is actually not about expensive champagne or cheap beer. It's actually about North Georgia real estate. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We're gonna talk about all kinds of fun stuff all the time on this channel. And of course, if you're thinking about moving to the area or if you're just curious about North Georgia, please reach out. My contact info is right here on the screen. All right, so what is Lake Lanier? Why do people care? Is it nice or is it haunted? I will get into some of that in this video. But one thing I wanted to talk about real quick is that the reason why all of the houses, for the most part, on Lake Lanier with their own dock slips or their own boat docks are so expensive, that is because the Army Corps of Engineers manages the coastline, all of the shore on Lake Lanier, which is a massive lake. They hand out all the dock permits. So guess what? They're not giving out any more dock permits. So any house that's on Lake Lanier that has its own dock, you better believe it's gonna be really expensive. All right, so before we get into some of the cheapest houses on Lake Lanier, I probably need to give you some information about it. It is located northeast of Atlanta. I'd say roughly about an hour, maybe a little closer on the southern end of the lake. The southern end of the lake is Buford Dam, and it's this massive dam that dams up a lot of the rivers that come out of North Georgia. The Chattahoochee River is the main river that flows into Lake Lanier. On the north side, you also have the Chestatee River and a couple others. Lake Lanier is bordered by 5 different counties in North Georgia. Let's see if I can name all these by memory. You've got Forsyth County, you've got Gwinnett County, you have Hall County, Dawson County, and Lumpkin County. So all of those North Georgia counties are bordering right there on Lake Lanier. It gives you a lot of options, actually. If you want to live on the lake, you can live in kind of suburbia on the southern side, where if you're in Cumming or Buford or one of those towns, maybe like Gwinnett County or Forsyth County, or you can get pretty rural all the way up on the northern end of the lake in North Hall County, North Gainesville, or out in Dahlonega or Dawsonville can get pretty rural up there. So you kind of have a little bit of everything. But it's a massive lake, and there's marinas, there's parks, there's restaurants that you can only get to by boat. There's all kinds of amazing stuff to do. There's water park, there's Lake Lanier Islands. I mean, this place is awesome. It's like kind of like a outdoor wonderland in North Georgia. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk about some of the cheapest houses you can find on Lake Lanier. Like I mentioned, if you don't want to spend a ton of money, but you want a house on the water, here's what you can find. So this first house is 5608 Azalea Drive in Gainesville, Georgia. Price point, it's $5.6 million. So that's one of the cheapest houses. I hate to burst your bubble. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually not. That's actually one of the most expensive houses on Lake Lanier, but I got you there for a second, didn't I? All right, so all joking aside, you might have stopped the video. But if you're still watching, then I'm actually going to get into some of the cheapest houses on Lake Lanier. And the whole reason that I'm pointing these out is because they all have their own dock slip. It's a very important thing to note about Lake Lanier. So number one on the list, we're going to talk about 7410 Fields Drive in Cumming, Georgia. 7410 Fields Drive, let's look at this one. As you can see from the exterior photos here, this house needs a lot of work. But it is one of the cheapest houses, and this is a house. I mean, it's not the nicest house in the world, but you do have your own dock, which carries a lot of value. And it's in Forsyth County, which is one of the most popular places to live in North Georgia. Best school systems probably in the state, just about. Lots of great things about the area. This house is being sold as is, so there's probably a reason why there are no interior photos, but it does have a single slip dock. It looks like it's in deep water, which is also another very important part about having a dock on Lake Lanier. You can get all that for $499,000. Maybe you buy it, tear it down, build your own nice house, Or maybe you just fix this house up. Who knows? Or you just use it as a little place to crash on the weekends and hang out on the lake. But that's what you can get for about $499,000 on Lake Lanier. All right, good news. We've got another one that's about $500,000 on the lake, but this one doesn't look like a haunted house. So let's check out this next house on Lake Lanier. We are looking at 1295 Timberlake Trail in Cumming, Georgia. Like I mentioned before, great area to live, great schools, all that good stuff. So let's talk about the house a little bit. $499,000, just under 500 grand, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, about 2,900 square feet. As you can see, it's a cute little ranch right there. This one is definitely livable. It definitely doesn't look like a haunted house. You got a nice deck on the back there. You got a fire pit. I mean, this is a cool little house. It looks like it's back in a little cove. Not sure how deep the water is, but you do have your own boat dock, and that is awesome. Kitchen looks nice. Great. This is a cool house. I mean, honestly, for 500 grand, this is a good house on Lake Lanier. Hard to find anything that's even remotely livable on Lake Lanier for this price. All right, so last but not least, we're gonna move over to Gainesville, Georgia. And this house is about the same price, maybe a little bit more expensive, but it's also more livable, especially than the first one. Compares a little bit to the second one we saw. We are looking at 2418 Hawthorne Lane in Gainesville. Price point's $550, so it is a little more expensive than that second one we saw in Cumming. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Looks like a nice brick ranch here. Hey, you got your own dock. That is a big deal. This is a kind of a party dock here. You got the single slip, and then you've got the deck on top, so you can put some lawn chairs out there and hang out. Looks to be deep water, hard to say from the photos, but the cove doesn't look so tiny that it looks like it would go dry or anything. Yeah, I mean, as I'm scrolling through the photos, nice house, you know, good granite countertops. I mean, it's a little dated, but man, for $550 to find something on the lake, like I mentioned, it's hard to find. So, you know, you look for something and you're looking around $500,000 and you would live in a place like Gainesville. Gainesville's a great place to live. This might be a good option for you. All right, waterfront property, whether you're in North Georgia, Southern California, or somewhere in Florida, or anywhere else that's got a coast in the country, you know it's gonna come at a premium. Tell me what you thought about some of the houses you could get on Lake Lanier for around $500,000. Or you like, no, I would never buy that. Or you like, man, you know what? That's actually a pretty decent deal. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought about the video. Let me know if you have any questions about North Georgia. As always, my contact info is on the screen if you're curious about the area, or if you just have any questions at all, please reach out. We'll see you on the next video.